Hello, welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. We have two 80 proof, 40% alcohol blended Scotch whiskeys with no website listing. Here is Kavanagh Finest blended Irish whiskey, and it's called Kavanagh, also Kavanagh's. Is it triple distilled? Well, it says traditional distillation. So I don't know if it's triple distilled or whatever that's supposed to mean. Matured in oak casks and blended to create a distinctive, smooth, and mellow taste in Irish whiskey. Product of Ireland, distilled, blended, and matured in Ireland. But that means didn't say bottled in Ireland, so it's bottled somewhere in the United States, you would assume. Purple label. There's also a single grain Kavanagh. There's a single malt Kavanagh. I saw like a ruby port cask Kavanagh. So there's different features, different variants of it. Now, when I bought this at Total Wine and More, it was $17.99. But I checked the price this past week, and it went up to $19.99 thanks to the JB inflation. Now, here's Drumcastle, imported, obviously, because I'm not in Ireland. Proudly distilled and blended in Ireland. And then on the back, it says bottled in Kentucky by the Founders Company. And there's a bottle which looks like, just like all the other Sazerac bottles that you get with many of the Sazerac bottles, one of their standard bottles. But it doesn't say Sazerac, it says the Founders Company. So we've got a black label with olive green, gold, and white. A blend of 100% Irish whiskey mellowed in a combination of bourbon and wine oak barrels for 3 years. So they have an age statement here. It's 3-year age, the minimum. And they're aging it in ex-bourbon barrels and ex-wine barrels. So give it a little interesting flavor. And this was introduced in 2016. So 2014, 2016. This is brewed. This is distilled by Teeling. You may have heard of the Teeling Irish Whiskey Distillery. So Teeling makes Kavanagh, and I don't know who makes Drumcastle, but I know it's bottled by the Founders Company. And I bought this at Albertsons, and it was on discount for $14.99. So on sale for $14.99, and this was at the regular price of $17.99, which has gone up, like I said, to $19.99. But I'm going to go by the prices I paid. $17.99, $14.99. Now, am I doing well in my Irish whiskey taste challenges so far? No. I have one correct and two wrong. One right, two wrong. What's the reason? It could be that I'm bad at doing this, but I think the real reason is that these Irish whiskeys are so similar one to the other that it's like you taste in 10 different bottles and they're all the same, or practically the same. I think I'm going to get this one correct, and I think it's going to bring me to 2-2. Yes, 2 wins, 2 losses. I think so. Don't know. Good, even. Sometimes I get it right. You go over there. All right, comments. Bertumus says, hope you're having a good day. I am. It's hot outside, but it's not too bad. Okay, even alcohol legs. They both have evenly spaced drips, so they look nice. The Kavanagh is gold, and the Drumcastle is straw. So the Drumcastle is so light. It's like the lightest lightest Irish whiskey I have. And I know the lightest Scotch I have is Ardbeg 10, because it's got no color in it. Ardbeg. The lightest blended Scotch whiskey I have is definitely Clan MacGregor. Clan MacGregor is so light. It's so pale. I don't think they're adding color into that. I really don't. 3 years in an X bourbon barrel or X whatever barrel. Yeah, I think it would get that. I think it would take on that color, which is sort of a washed out pale color. Yeah. Now we know the Drumcastle is aged in X wine barrels. What kind of wine? We don't know. What country is the wine from? We don't know. If it's X bourbon barrels, now we know that's from the United States. Most likely Buffalo Trace. Frankfort, Kentucky, since the ownership is Buffalo Trace. All right. The Sazerac Company, the Founders Company. All right. Wine. I mean, Sazerac doesn't deal in wine, so that's just something they picked up somewhere, you know. All right. Let's go with it. Oh. Shane Giggy said, I never heard of either of these Irish whiskeys. Yeah, they're kind of rare. But I look around, you know. It's funny in Louisiana, you'd be looking around, you can find all kind of oddball products. Never know what you're going to run across around here. Like this tequila, look. Bandolero. This is the white. I have a gold also. Now, on this 720 HD camera, I know it's old. Most people just listen to these broadcasts anyway, these live things. They don't watch them. It's not much to see. Same bottle as Bandolero, same exact bottle. Kind of let you know who's doing it, right? Bottled by the Brookstone Distilling Company, Louisville, Kentucky. Brookstone Distilling. Yeah. If you knew how many, I wish I knew every alias name Sazerac used. Like, I just ran across that Bandolero. I just literally just wasn't looking for it, never heard of it. I ran across it. I was like, well, I saw it. I said $6.99. That's so cheap. I'll buy it next time I'm in that store, Albertsons. But then I went to Star in a different town. They had it for $5.99. No, $5.96. I think it was $5.96. Could be wrong, but it was like $5.96, $5.99. I said, they're almost giving it away. I got to buy it. So I bought the gold, silver, and the gold. Now, is it any good? I don't know. I bet it's not the best. The thing about Canada is we have oddball products too, but they are not much cheaper, so people just buy brand name products. Yeah, well, see, if you live in a country where the off brand, like we say, off brands, and that's a bad thing to say because then people will take it like if it's a brand you never heard of, it's going to be bad or inferior in some way. And you half the time it's better. It's not bad. It's not worse. Just come from a company that doesn't have a lot of money and they can't advertise, you know. But sometimes they're worse, you know. But yeah, if you got to pay the same price as like Jose Cuervo, like if the Jose Cuervo is $23 and the Bandolero is $23, then yeah, just buy the Jose Cuervo because you know that's reliable. It's a major brand, the most popular tequila in the world. And people say it's all marketing. Oh, really? You think it's going to be the number one selling tequila on planet Earth, and it's all because of marketing? And people will say it's so bad. How can it be that bad? It's number one. I tried it. I tried the Jose Cuervo Silver, the Especial. It was good. I don't know what these people talking about. All right, let's go with the taste. I mean the aroma. I can't look because of the paleness. Let me keep mixing them up a little bit more. That one is so pale. If I look down and see a pale appearance, I'm gonna know that's the Drumcastle. It smells like bread. I'm not joking. Like if you open up a loaf of bread, you know, with the plastic polypropylene bag. Although I bought some bread from Walmart that they bake in their own bakery, and it's Mylar plastic. The plastic is Mylar. But I think, seemed to me like polypropylene would protect the bread better. But because the Mylar is too crinkly, but that's what they use. It smells like bread too, but not as much of a bread. You say, I gotta have charred oak when I'm drinking whiskey. Well, you don't want to drink Irish whiskey, so don't even look at the category. Just skip over all the videos, don't watch. I'm serious, because it's not gonna have that. Or you say, I gotta have peat, smoked peat. Oh, I love that smoky peaty smell. Yeah, well, drink scotch. Either blended scotch like Johnny Walker Double Black or Ardbeg 10 single malt, because that's going to be smoky. Irish whiskey, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna. Not gonna. All right. So, it does smell like a little bit of compost, which is like a peat. That's making me think it's the Drumcastle, because Drumcastle, the only Irish whiskey I tried that has like this slightly peaty nose in flavor, like an old compost pile. Not smoke, you see, but it's a little weird. Let's go with the taste. I mean, these things are like sweet, sugary bread. I don't know how else you describe it. Like, how else does one subscribe it? Yeah, you're going to get it, come in once a month. How do you describe it? Because they taste like sweet, doughy bread. I mean, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. And I like the Irish whiskeys because I like sweet, doughy bread, to tell you the truth. You want to get techno. Yeah, it's the same thing on this side, but it's a little more blander. Little more blander. But not too much more. Price point, $3. Am I tasting a $3 difference? Maybe 30 cents. See, I think the Drumcastle has that peaty note. It's so minuscule. Could it be coming from the X wine barrels and the X bourbon barrels? I don't think it's coming from that. I think it's coming from the malt, not the grain whiskey. This thing is probably 80% grain whiskey, aged for 3 years. You say, what grain? You know it's corn. It's probably 15% barley whiskey, like copper pot still whiskey, and then maybe 5% single malt. I really don't know. Or unmalted. I don't know. They don't really have to follow too strict of a guideline, just as long as it's aged 3 years. You say it's got to be triple distilled. It doesn't really have to be triple distilled. It's just a tradition that they do, but it's not a rule. That's why the Kavanagh said traditional distillation, which is making me think triple distill. But they don't say it, so I'm not saying it. Now, Total Wine said Kavanagh is aged 4 years. But Total Wine is not the company. Maybe they got some bad information. I doubt it. They probably got that off a sell sheet. So it more than likely it's aged 4 years. But I'm not going to say it. I'm saying no age statement. Doesn't say anything on the bottle. There's no website to look at. So Drumcastle, yeah, I know it's 3-year age. It says right there on the front, age 3 years. Kind of obvious when they're telling you. That's got to be Drumcastle. It's got to be Drumcastle. It's a little bitey. A little bit, not too much. Now, Kavanagh is smooth like a whiskey that's smooth. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're not making it up. Because it says, oh, there's this whole thing about the King of Ireland, the King of Leinster, some area of Ireland and all this stuff. But smooth and mellow tasting. I just think they keep emphasizing smooth. It's so smooth. I'm starting to believe it. I think this is the Drumcastle. Boy, I hope I'm right. I hate to drop the 1 and 3. I want to be at 2 and 2 right now, right about now. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. How you feel? Played. Don't ever question me unless I'm wrong, but we'll pretend that I never got it wrong. See what we'll do in this channel. This is a very good thing to do. On this channel, if I get it wrong, we'll pretend it never happened and we won't talk about it. And then if I get it right, we'll pretend like that's the only challenges I did, and then we'll just promote that. You see? Now you might say, but that's insanity. Well, these political parties do it. Okay. So I got it right. So 2 wins, 2 losses, and I think it's just going to go up from there. I think I'm gonna get a lot of them right. Okay. Liam says, Liam Gillespie, who I hear from a lot. He says, I actually tried Drumcastle when I was renting a room in Ireland. Listen to this now. When I was renting a room in Ireland back in 2017, it was very enjoyable. Back in 2022. I think you mean, back in 2002, I would drink a pint of Jameson every day after work. A pint. Oh, you must have been traumatized from the events of September of 2021. That was therapy, maybe destructive therapy. That wasn't eustress. That was more like distress. You say, what's the difference between eustress and distress? Well, eustress is EU stress. It's a stressful situation and you channel it in a positive, healthful way. EU meaning good for you. Distress is taking a tragic situation or stressful situation and channeling it in a negative way, like overdrink, too much drinking or drug abuse and all of these things. So those are 2 responses to stress. But getting back off of psychology, Shane says, I have drunk. That's the proper way. I have drunk Jose Cuervo a few times, but I'm not a fan of tequila. Many people aren't. I'm not totally bought into it, but I'm buying into it currently. Mr. Yogi D say you should get a piece of bread and dip it in the whiskey. I really think they would complement each other. My favorite Irish whiskey, says Shane, is Tullamore DEW. I think it's so very smooth. I got a bottle right there on that counter in the other room, and it's ready to go for the next challenge. That's the next one coming up. Tullamore DEW, yes. And what a deal I got. What a deal I got. A $26 bottle, and I got it for $13. Thank you, Walmart. $13 for a $26 bottle. Now people are going to say, you're supporting the corporate monster. You're supporting the corporate monster. I know, and it's helping me out. In the short term, at least. Now, when I was living in Los Angeles back in 1989, says Liam, you could buy a 40 ounce of Colt 45 for $1.25. I believe that. Mr. Yogi D says, you could mix some sugar cubes in before you dip your bread in the whiskey. I could do that. Do I like Bombay Gin? Bombay Gin. I've never had it. I've never tried it. I see it all the time. Bombay Sapphire. And they got all the different variants. Got the blue glass, the brown glass, and all. I never had it. But people are always saying good things about it. So I'm sure it's very nice. Shane said, I don't like Jameson because it has too much of a sherry aftertaste. Isn't it aged in sherry casks? Ex-sherry casks? Scoggett says, hello, everyone. Hello, Scoggett. King of the Dots. Gary says blended. They should say with what? Don't you think might be half Russian vodka? Well, it would be nice if they would tell us what's in the blend, but they're not going to. When I visited Montana back in 1989, I bought a 6-pack of Budweiser for $2.50. 1998. I'm sorry, he said 98. 1998. What? That's too cheap. I always wanted to visit Montana. Where have all the 40s gone? Long time lasting. Where have all the 40s gone? Long time ago. Yes, but I see them all the time. So they must have all come to Louisiana. Some people lose their minds when you say smooth as a whiskey characteristic, because some people are stuck up. They're living in their own private Idaho, you know. I used to tell my kids, I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong, says Scoggett. Right, you're just less correct. Liam says, this is the problem with going for dry for 20 years. When you decide to drink, it's too expensive. Right. I stay away from tequila. It makes me crazy. It makes a lot of people crazy. Liam says, will you ever make Bombay gin or Bombay gin review? I doubt it, because I don't really deal with gin. I got so much backstock of brandy, rum, tequila, mezcal, rye, whiskey, straight bourbon, regular bourbon, American blended whiskey, Canadian blended whiskey, blended Irish whiskey, single malt scotch, blended scotch. I just don't see it fitting in. I just can't. And then I'm doing all these liqueurs. I just don't see it happening, but I'm not opposed to it. It's like a hierarchy of needs. People say, oh, no, not Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs from 1970. Yes, I'm afraid that's what we're dealing with right now. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But these are not needs. These are wants. Bombay is 47% alcohol by volume. Oh, it is? Maybe I will try it. Tonight. No, but I'm not opposed to it, though. I'm really not opposed to it. You could really pick up the wine barrels in that. Well, I'll tell you, that is really, they got to be using sherry. I think they're using sherry. You say, what sherry? Oh, Fairbanks, cocktail sherry. I don't know, Fairbanks. I think I already live in an off-brand country. Oh, you do? You live in Suriname. Okay. It's an off-brand country. All right. Kavanagh. Well, I like it. I like it. And I'm glad I bought it. I think I got a great deal. $17.99. Now, when we come back around and around, when we come back around, probably 8 months from now, but at the rate I'm going, it could be 8 weeks from now. You are not my. I got a whiskey from Ireland called Two Gingers. Two Gingers. Well, that's a strange one. I found out who made it, though. Found out who makes it. Sure did. So they couldn't fool me. They thought they had me down, but they were wrong. But that'll be a while, you know. Have I ever blended all of my whiskeys together to make my own super? No, I never did that, Mr. Yogi. Gary says tequila has a 5.6 pH, very low. Whiskey is 7.6, like water. Oh, so tequila is like acidic. Liam says, back in 2005, as a prank, my old housemate replaced my Jim Beam with Wild Turkey 101. I was wondering why I was getting wasted so quickly. That's a dirty prank. All right, we all take care now. So I got 2 wins and 2 losses. We got more Irish whiskey coming up like a flower. Da, 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 da.